Obviously, there are different lenses that have different types of issues. It's kind of inherently built into all of them at some level. I've purposefully picked a lens that has some obvious issues. This was taken with a fisheye lens, so we have some distortion as well as some other issues that are going on. We're going to use the lens correction filter in order to see what Photoshop can help us do to put this back into more of the normal range. We access that by going to the filter menu and choosing lens correction. Now don't panic when your screen kind of flashes and does its thing. It's going to open up a different lens correction window and give us all kinds of settings on the right-hand side. There certainly are a lot of technical things that you can know about working with this filter. And if you know those things, that's great. But the good news is Photoshop actually does a lot of the work for us. Let's take a look at what it's trying to do. It has decided that there is definitely some geometric distortion going on, and that's okay. It's going to automatically scale the image for us. It's decided to make the edge transparent. Now you could change that, and you could do an extension to the edge if you wanted to do that instead. The next thing that can be helpful is if you can identify the camera and the lens that was used. Now this is not a complete list, but Adobe is doing a lot every day to keep the list up to date and to enhance it. We can choose our lens from the drop-down, and often it will go ahead and make the correct selection. In this case, it did. I do shoot with a Canon. What it may not be able to do is tell which model it was. In this case, you can do all of the models, or you can choose the one that is most like the one that you have. In this case, we'll choose the Canon 7D. That brings us down to the selection of the lens. There may be numerous lenses that are listed, and you should scroll through them to find the one that you specifically used. If you are not using a lens made by the manufacturer, then you should choose the lens profile that closely matches. If you need to select a certain lens model, you can do that from the drop-down list. But all of your lens profiles that are loaded on the computer should already be here. What I can see that is already highlighted is the Canon EOS 7D with the fisheye lens, and that's actually the lens that was used to take this image. With that selected, the computer can go ahead and make the corrections that are known for this particular lens. What does that mean that we have to do? Well, not a whole lot actually, other than go up to the top of the screen, click OK, and wait for it to make the adjustments. Now as this happens, watch the edges of the image as well as the distortion. I hate to use the term like magic, but to me, that's pretty magical. These are things that we certainly could have done using many of Photoshop's built-in tools. We can change the skew, we can change all kinds of color and aberrations, but it's done it all with really just one click. So if you do a lot of photography, take the time to find the profiles for your camera and your lens and make sure that they're loaded so that Photoshop can find them. That takes all of the guesswork out of it. Then you can make some quick corrections to even the most exaggerated images and make them a little bit more useful or certainly a little bit more natural. There are a lot of adjustments here and they are fairly technical. So if you don't want to take a look at all of them, we can do it the simple way. But if you do know how to use the other more advanced features on your own, feel free to make those adjustments so that the image ends up